In solitude lies a wisdom that has been cherished by Zen masters and Buddhist sages for centuries. The idea that a person with no friends or only a small circle of close ones can be truly secure may seem strange in today's world. But this concept holds a deep truth about finding inner peace and freedom from the chaos of constant social obligations. True peace is not about the external noise, the social pressures, or the validation we seek from others. It comes from the stillness within. Our story begins with a young seeker who once believed that having a wide circle of friends was the key to happiness. He filled his life with social activities, but still felt empty, burdened by the pressure to keep up appearances and maintain connections. The more he tried to fit in and please others, the more exhausted he became, unable to find the fulfillment he sought. One day, while wandering through a serene mountain forest, the seeker encountered an old monk sitting in meditation beneath a gnarled oak tree. The monk's face radiated a peace the seeker had never witnessed before. Intrigued, the seeker approached and asked, "Venerable one, how is it that you seem so content, yet you sit here alone?" The monk smiled gently and replied, "Do your many friendships bring you peace?" The seeker hesitated and admitted they didn't. Instead, he often felt anxious, drained, and even lonely in the crowd. The monk then explained, "You're attached to things that are impermanent. True peace doesn't come from others, it comes from within." In that moment, the seeker was confronted with a profound truth. The monk was not speaking of loneliness, but of solitude, a space where one can cultivate a deeper connection with the self. The monk shared the story of Mahakassapa, one of Buddha's disciples who chose to live in solitude in the forest. Mahakassapa found joy and wisdom in being alone, using that time not to isolate himself, but to deepen his spiritual practice. In the stillness, he encountered his true nature, strengthened his inner resolve, and became capable of serving others from a place of true understanding and compassion. Inspired by this story, the seeker began to realize that happiness and security didn't come from having many friends, but from cultivating inner peace and strength. The monk also introduced the concept of Kalyana Mitra, spiritual friendship. "It's better to walk alone than with the wrong company," he said. "But if you find a wise, supportive friend, treasure that bond." The seeker understood that his large circle of friends was not as meaningful as he had once believed. Only a few truly understood his journey and cared about his spiritual growth. As the seeker reflected, he realized that he had been chasing quantity over quality, filling his life with superficial relationships that distracted him from what truly mattered. The monk encouraged the seeker to spend time alone, not as isolation, but as an opportunity to connect with himself, to cultivate sattva, the quality of stillness and clarity that arises from within. Through meditation, the seeker began to face his thoughts and emotions without distraction. At first, this was uncomfortable. The mind would race, and the silence seemed unnerving. But over time, he began to experience moments of clarity, calm, and insight. These moments of stillness began to change him. They helped him realize that true contentment doesn't come from external circumstances, but from aligning oneself with the present moment. This realization was a turning point in his journey. He started to feel less reliant on the approval of others, and more confident in his own sense of worth. As the seeker's inner strength grew, his relationships naturally changed. Some friends drifted away, but the ones who stayed were more genuine and supportive. They were people who resonated with his true self, not the persona he had once put forward to fit in. The monk reassured him, saying, "Letting go isn't a loss. You're making room for what truly matters." The seeker began to understand the impermanence of all things, relationships included. Clinging to the past or to people who didn't align with his journey only caused suffering. To illustrate this, the monk took the seeker to a Zen garden. He pointed to a few carefully placed rocks surrounded by sand and said, "These rocks don't need to crowd together to create harmony. Your relationships can be like this, few but meaningful. The right ones will add value to your life and help you grow, but they don't need to overwhelm you. The seeker finally understood that harmony is not about having everything in excess, but about balance and alignment with one's true path. Through meditation and self-reflection, the seeker came to learn that change is a natural part of life, and attachment to things that are fleeting only leads to suffering. True security comes not from clinging to people, objects, or circumstances, but from embracing the impermanence of life. This is the essence of Zen wisdom: to let go of attachments, to live fully in the present moment, and to find peace within, regardless of the external noise. The more the seeker embraced this wisdom, the more his relationships transformed. He began to connect with others more authentically, not from a place of need, but from a place of strength. One day, at a village gathering, someone asked the seeker, "You seem so calm and content, even amidst all this noise. What's your secret?" The seeker smiled and replied, "I've learned to be alone even within a crowd." By letting go of the need for constant companionship and learning to enjoy his own company, the seeker discovered a profound truth. When you're secure in yourself, you don't need to chase relationships. The right people will come into your life when you are aligned with your true self. True peace does not come from how many people surround you, but from the inner contentment and clarity you cultivate within. This understanding is at the heart of Zen. It is the practice of embracing the present, letting go of attachments, and finding peace not in the external world, but in the inner stillness of the mind. When you achieve this, you will always be at peace, no matter where life takes you. If you enjoyed this video, you might love this next one too. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more inspiring content in the future.